It won't be the news that Arsenal fans are really hoping to hear from Mikel Arteta today in the pre-match press conference, because towards the press conference today, lots of outlets brought out very many stories that William Saliba is forcing himself to return and play for Arsenal because he's finding it that he might be the reason as to why Arsenal has gone ahead to really lose 4 points in its previous 2 games they played against Liverpool and West Ham, where they had to take a 2-goal lead in the first 45 minutes of the game, and they found themselves losing out onto such 4 points. So welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share if at all you're watching us for the very first time, and never to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in on a daily. Mikel Arteta has also had to say something about Zinchenko and how physically and mentally his players are concerning the game of Southampton. We are going to break down this presser slowly, bit by bit, because I know that most of you will be really willing to really know the rest that we're gonna have to collect for you, because lots of stories are really coming in from Arsenal, and I believe this is the right place that you guys need to get it. Now, Mikel Arteta, first question was all about the team news, and he said there is no big news. The picture hasn't changed from last week. Regarding William Saliba, we still have to wait a little bit more. He's not progressing as quickly as we hoped, and it is a bit delicate. So we want to be certain that when we push him, he's ready to absorb the load and risk that we will take. And that's not possible at the moment. Now, in simple terms, you can call it the Saliba setback. Mikel Arteta, in the presser of West Ham, towards the game of West Ham, I think it was on Friday, he came out and confirmed to us how William Saliba is just nearing coming to the grass this week. So we expected him to give us a more positive update from William Saliba this week, that he has gone ahead to start his work on the grass, and maybe next week we might see him coming through. But obviously he has gone ahead to throw in another shocker to the fans of Arsenal. And it's really a shocker because Arsenal is now limited with central defense options. Do you know why? They are having only Gabriel Magalhaes and Rob Holding. One will say, what about Ben White? If one of Rob Holding and Gabriel Magalhaes gets an injury, that means Ben White will have to switch to the central defense and get Thomas Partey to be played as a right back. Then Jorginho comes in and plays as a central defensive midfielder, which wouldn't be a bad option. But what if you get another injury? Arsenal fans will say that is not impossible. You cannot get those injuries. Guys, United were playing against Sevilla. So 2 of its central defenders, best defensive partnership for me for Manchester United, walk off the field of play injured. Rafael Varane, in the 45th minute of the game, he got an injury, never returned. He never returned in the second half. Lisandro Martinez, in the 84th minute, just saw his season come to an end when he got an injury and he was lifted off a field of play. Luke Shaw had gotten an injury against Brentford, I think in the midweek, 2 weeks back, when United was playing Brentford, and that's how the saga started at United. So I think Arsenal are in a position that is really so much luck bending. That's it. The situation in which Arsenal is bending towards luck, because the season of Arsenal can even crumble more than we've seen it in the previous 2 games. If at all one of the central defenders really gets an injury, that's it. Because however much they are playing 1 game per 7 days, it calls them to include a lot of prayers for their players, because if any central defenders of Arsenal gets an injury, it will be really very, 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 very terrifying and very much annoying and very much confusing to the manager of Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, on how he'll go ahead and really gate hold that situation. Because Tomiyasu is injured, Elneny is injured, Saliba is injured, and it's so much worrying for William Saliba, because we thought that some positive news was going to be reported today by Mikel Arteta, but obviously it's all negativity that we've gotten in from Mikel Arteta. Then, after giving us that update on William Saliba, the journalists at London Colney were forced to ask a question on whether William Saliba will play again this season. Arteta said, I don't know. It's a bit early to know. Probably next week we'll have more certainty. There is some evolution he's doing, more activity, but he's not there yet to start to throw him into the pitch at the level the sessions demand to compete in this league. At least for this, you hear some bit of positivity coming in from Mikel Arteta. That's it. Because if at all is mentioning about the evolution, and next week there will be certainty of William Saliba really returning. So let's wait and see what's going to happen for Mikel Arteta and William Saliba, because it looks like he might be not wanting to force him on the field of play because of the levels that Mikel Arteta wants. It should be remembered that Mikel Arteta is the one who told us that you can only play in the Premier League when you are 90% fit. You know, if you're 50% fit, 60% fit, you are not eligible to play in the Premier League because of its physicality, you know, the amount of running required in the game. You are not eligible to play if at all you are 60%, you know. And if at all you are centre forward, you can come in when you're 60%, I understand. If at all you are defender, you must be at 90% plus to come on and play his game of football. So we don't know at what level is William Saliba, levels of fitness I mean, but it looks like Mikel Arteta doesn't want to make a risk. But to my understanding, I just think they just need to risk this player out, because their season looks like it's falling out of their hands. That's it. I believe if Saliba played the game of Liverpool, Arsenal would have gotten 3 points. If he played the game of Man City, I think Arsenal will get 3 points. Newcastle away from home, Arsenal will get 3 points. And those are the games I called in for Mikel Arteta to come out and think about putting William Saliba in. He never needed William Saliba to play all these games. No way. He just needed Saliba to come in through and play the game of Liverpool, take him back, he rests. Then he plays the game of Man City, take him back, he rests, and the game of Newcastle. Only those. Out of the 8, only 3 we are calling in for the efforts of William Saliba, because I believe the remaining games Rob Holding can handle and take Arsenal to that level of success that they want to achieve as a club. So let's wait and see what Arteta will be telling us on Tuesday, because on Tuesday we expect another press conference as Arsenal is going to be playing Man City on Wednesday. That is going to be one of the hugest games that Arsenal will ever play this season. Is Mikel Arteta willing to risk his season all out and not go with William Saliba, with him to Etihad? That is a question that we expect him to answer next week at London Colney as he prepares to travel to Etihad. Then Mikel Arteta has told us the following about Arteta on Zinchenko's fitness. We will see about that one as well. It's not certain. It's a muscular injury and it needs some time to heal, and we are not yet there yet. So the reply of Mikel Arteta just sends a message in my brain that maybe it's going to be Kientieni to start. Though in my prediction starting 11, I called for Zinchenko to start, though I put out a disclaimer that I would have gone ahead to fancy Kientieni to start and play some 70 minutes. Then Zinchenko comes in and gets some 20 minutes to warm up his legs for the game of Man City that Arsenal is going to be playing on sorry about that, on Wednesday next week. But Mikel Arteta looks like he's a confident man and he knows what he's doing. He's not willing to really force players on the field of play, and he doesn't want to see Zinchenko out until the end of the season, because he has been one of those players that have been disturbed with very many injuries. Though ever since return from the World Cup, Zinchenko had found himself fit in almost every game, and we just saw him out in the game of West Ham when he really got a muscular injury, meaning that he's trying to maintain his full levels of fitness, but he wouldn't like to miss him out on the game of Man City. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta is really paying attention to detail to. And he wants to be having those players back to face City, because City is looking like in the best form of their life. They are scoring in goals and they are not really losing points. Their attacking prowess is really deadly. Kevin De Bruyne is in the form of his life again. Towards the World Cup, Kevin De Bruyne was really badly off. Towards the international break, he was not doing great. But after the international break, we are seeing the Kevin De Bruyne that we've always seen for years at Man City. So Arteta doesn't want to give a chance to Man City by risking his players to play the game of Southampton, which he believes they can win, with Tierney playing as left back and Rob Holding playing into the Saliba role, which he has not gone ahead to play badly, by the way, because his efforts have been failed by the opponent that he has always gone ahead to play against. That is Rob Holding and Tierney. Now, I'll speak from today's press conference. There, I believe more is yet to come from me. In 3 hours from now, I'm going to come up with another Gabriel Jesus story that was asked to Mikel Arteta. Arteta was asked about how his players are feeling physically. He said, my players today are really looking forward to tomorrow to get the game that we want and the result that we want, the play in front of a crowd again. There are 7 games left and we have 4 games to play at the Emirates, which is for them a big thing, and we're looking forward to it. Talking about the 4 games left to be played at Emirates out of the 7, that's a very huge boost, because if you're playing Chelsea, Southampton, at Emirates, which other games they're playing at Emirates? Let me check here. Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think, is coming at the Emirates, last game of the season, and Brighton. So that gives Arsenal a very huge edge, because when you look at Man City, out of the 8 games they're left with to play, Man City are hosting Arsenal, West Ham, Leeds, and Chelsea. So they have to play away at Brentford, they have to play away at Everton, they have to play away at Fulham. You get? And they have to play away at Brighton. So out of the 8 games that City is left with, 4 of those they are playing at home, and 4 of those they are playing away from home. Yet Arsenal, out of the 7 they are left with, 4 at the Emirates and 3 are really away. And those away games are City, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. To me, I believe the most tricky game is that of City. If they can find themselves drawing with City and win the 4 they're having at Emirates, I think they'll find themselves in a position of really finding themselves through. But talking about the physicality of his players, that they're really willing to go ahead and really win these games. So let's wait and see how that's going to pan out in the game of Southampton. But I think they need to show how mentally and physically fit they are in the game of Southampton. This is the game they're supposed to come in through and really bury it immediately, and it should be a commanding win. It should be a healthy win. It should be a win that Arsenal should get to really send fear or to torment Man City players where they are. If Arsenal can put 4 or 5 goals past Southampton tomorrow, that will be the win that every Arsenal player would want to send a message to City that we are coming there very strong on Wednesday in a very good shape altogether. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about Arteta's uncertainty of Saliba's return. Then what do you think about Zinchenko, according to what Mikel Arteta is telling us, and Arteta hinting about the physical fitness of Arsenal players ahead of this encounter of Southampton tomorrow, that is going to mark the the 32nd game of Arsenal this season. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim friends, Eid al-Fitr has been confirmed by Mecca that Eid is tomorrow. Me out.